Hey YouTube, Axel Soul here, bringing you an update on a deck. It's on the Blackluster Soldier deck, and I made some cuts, I made some additions, and I'm honestly trying to work with this deck, but I find it quite difficult. Anyways, I'm gonna be showing what I'm playing with right now. I'm using the Gaias, so I kind of dropped the little ones. I'm trying to figure out how to use the little ones and make up their own. If not, I'm just going to figure out the best way to include both of them. But this video is pretty much going to be showing the Gaia ones. And yes, this is my mat. Titty. My bad. Oh, but anyways, I'm going to show ahead and start with the video. So, of course, you have to run triple of the Blackluster Soldier. Basically, the boss monster of the deck, really good. When it destroys a monster, when it destroys a monster, basically your opponent takes the damage. If it was in defense position, your opponent takes damage equal to the monster's attack. If you attack a monster, your opponent basically takes a straight up 3,000. So yeah. Blackluster Soldier Envoy at the beginning, really good because you run a good amount of lights and a good amount of dark, so it's really easy to bring out. Next, I'm running 2 of the Sacred Soldier. Originally, I was going to run 3, but I found it cloggy, and I took out trade-ins, and I'll show you what I added for trade-ins instead. And I'll pretty much tell you the changes I did. But yeah, because Sacred Soldier is basically when it's special or normal summoned, you target one of your banished light or dark monsters and one card your control controls. Basically, switch it so your monster gets added to your hand. And your card gets added to the graveyard, and your opponent's card gets banished instead. That's pretty good. Next, double charging Gaia. I find this one's like because you only run 2 of this one because you only have 6 Gaias or 6 Blackluster Soldiers to search. So besides, I pretty much just made it so I wouldn't have to buy the 3rd one. I'm going to buy the 3rd one and see what I can do with that, but pretty much having 2 and only having 6 search targets is pretty alright, so that's why I run 2 of him. And I run triple of the Arisen Gaia. Pretty much Arisen is the best choice here because when it's tributed, you get a special summon these. And if your opponent controls more monsters, you can normal. So the only reason this guy is better is because you can normal it on the spot. But this one's also easy to get out. But sometimes if your opponent doesn't control anything and you need a monster on the field, this one kind of is dead for a bit. And when this one's distributed, you can special summon a Blackluster Soldier from your hand or graveyard. So it's pretty good. Pretty much what you're doing is using this one to summon this one or your super soldiers again if they're destroyed. So it's pretty cool. Next, these are additions, pretty much 2 Gors. 2 Gors basically because if something happens to your monster, she gets destroyed, and this is basically a target for another card I am running in the deck. So if you open with this and you have nothing and you can't do anything about it, Gors is a good out, and you have a monster in the field and it's level 7, so it works with summoning these if you have level 1s. So Gors is kind of a good out for that, and it's a good hand trap for some decks. So I figured I might as well give it a try and run it in that deck. Next you run Triple Manju. Triple Manju basically gets you your pieces. They can get you to your ritual monsters, and they can get you to your ritual spells. Pretty much standard. Next, 2 Spear Kuribohs. Level 1s of the deck, basically, if this is in your hand and your opponent attacks, you can send that to grave, and pretty much switch that monster to defense position. So it's really good, and it saves you. And it's situational, but it saves you, and you can also banish this to... You can also banish this one to basically use for entire tripper for these. So it's pretty good. Next I run 2 Djinn, Dizzy, I always forget. Disserere? Something like that. Whatever. This one, the level 1 Djinn. pretty much basically again it's like this, except this one's basically can be used as an entire ritual while you banish it, so that's pretty good. It's also another dark monster, so that's another way to summon the BLS effect monster, the actual Blackluster envoy of the beginning. It's pretty good. And this one, if you use it for the ritual, it makes it so your BLS monster isn't affected by trap cards. So kind of makes it so that your opponent's outs are for that. So it's pretty cool. I was also thinking about running Royal Decrees in the deck, but these work fine, and then you're not really worried about your crap getting destroyed because then you bring out other stuff, and then like I don't know. So yeah, pretty much that. So that's basically the monster lineup. Put that over there. Now get onto the spells. Triple the ritual spell, of course. Pretty good card. Basically, this gets if this is in the graveyard, you can banish this, a light and a dark. It doesn't specify, so it doesn't matter. The levels don't really matter. And summon this from your hand. So it's pretty good. And you needed to summon it, so standard. Next, 2 Gateway to Chaos, and the 1 Terraforming for it. You don't really need Gateway to Chaos that much. Like I would say, I guess you could run it at 3, but I find this being easier because this will basically can get you to your Gaias, or if you need it in a situation, will get you to your Blackluster Soldier. And Terraforming, if you don't draw these, if you draw Terraforming, it basically gets you the spell. It sucks if this gets MT'd on the first spot, but then like it doesn't really matter, because if it gets MST'd out, basically the search for your spells, so it's alright. I might bump it up to 3, but 2 is working fine for now. Then 2 MST, 1 Twin Twister. Want to get a second Twin Twister for the deck, but I only have the one and I'm working with it, but that ratio is fine. And I don't really find, I guess you could say this deck isn't necessarily competitive. If it's competitive, you probably want to opt out the MSTs for Twin Twisters, so you can have a set, because you're not worried about dumping stuff to the graveyard. But yeah, that's pretty much all the changes. And next, my little tech card, because originally, I don't know if you guys saw, I was using Manju, or Legendary Manju Garset. I found out that was a really slow trigger card. So like, I opted out for enemy controller. Pretty much what enemy controller is, you tribute one of your monsters, and target one monster your opponent controls, and take control of the target till the end phase. So when you get your opponent's monster 2, you can tribute your BLSs or your Gaias in order to add something from your hand, or add something from your deck to hand, or special something from your hand or graveyard. So these are basically the trigger cards for the Gaia. These are my preferred, and they're also quick play spells. I need to get, this is the new one. These are old ones because it says select. I will get the new ones, but pretty much same concept, and it's pretty good. And it honestly helps in a pickle. Next, another change I made to the deck besides the enemy controls and junk. Instead of trade-ins, I put in 3 Sacred Sword of the 7, or Sacred Sword of the 7 Stars. This is why I added Gorz, because it gives me another level 7 target, and Gorz is good in a good hand trap for certain situations. And like as you can see, you don't really have much on the field, because you play a bunch of quick plays, so you want to get those out of the way as much as possible. And just basically can be a Gorz if you don't need it anymore, if you're full as field, or it can be a Gaia and you're not worried about sending the Gaias because you have Sacred Soldier, so that's able to bring them back in the graveyard. So yeah, pretty much for draw power too. So this is the opt-out for trade-ins, and it basically does the same thing, so yeah. Next, 1 Burial, just to get back stuff in a needed situation, and then 1 Foolish to get stuff in a graveyard in a needed situation. So you can dump like a Sacred Soldier, or like the Jin or the Spear Karibo, or maybe even a Gaia if you needed to. Might opt this out for something, but like it adds some type of consistency to the deck. And like that's it for the spells. Then like a Torrential, a Bottomless, and a Skill Drain. People were telling me to take out the Skill Drain, but honestly, it's kind of like an insta-win. Because then, like, you see a bunch of stuff running on effects, and then, like, if this is up on the field and I have my Black Leather Soldiers on the field, then pretty much what happens is that I have a 3000 beater on the field, while your monsters are probably lower than that, and they can activate effects to pop my shit. And if I have the Jin set up with the Black Leather Soldier, my effect applies and yours doesn't, so pretty good. This Torrential originally used to be a Solemn, but I figure Torrential is better in a way, sort of. Well, at least for right now. I'll probably put back in the Solemn for the Torrential Tribute, but this is pretty much what I have right now. And like, yeah, pretty much what I took out was Sacred Soldier, the BLS, another Djinn, the Majus, the Tradents, the Super Soldier of Birth, and a Solemn from my original deck setup. That's really what I took out. And I also need to figure out how to use the little ones, and I will figure that out soon. But I know that I will try to be working with. Watch, let me get them out right now. I'll show you what my idea is to work with them. So pretty much it's the. Let me move these over. The little ones. So I'm trying to figure out how to work these out, which is very complicated. So I'm figuring about adding a Math Man to dump a level 1 Djinn, maybe a 1, because Math Man's at 1, maybe a 1:2 ratio of the Djinn or the Spear. You need to have the Rhoda to search stuff. Maybe I might incorporate a little chaos into it with the dragons. I believe in my other video I was talking about using Phantom of Chaos. Phantom of Chaos is a good trigger card for the little ones to get their effects off. So with Phantom of Chaos and these, you wouldn't really necessarily need the freaking Gateway. So I would opt these out for the Gateway. I'm thinking Debris to go into synchro play if it needed to, and it'll bring back one of these if I need it to like just bring out a BLS straight up on the spot. And then Chaos Sorcerer for a trigger for these two again, and like it's pretty handy in a situation. Basically another Banisher. So yeah, that's my idea for it. But yeah, anyways, pretty much same extra deck cards. The only ones Big Eye and Gimmick Puppet Giant Grinder. You don't really need an extra deck. It'd be nice to have. I'll add level 7s and maybe a couple level 8s. Maybe a level 1 in here just cause you have the Djinns and shit, but you don't really need one. It'd be nice to have though. I wouldn't mind having an extra deck, but this deck can rely on itself and its crap, so I don't know. Up to you guys, pretty much. But anyways, leave a like, maybe subscribe, and tell me what you guys feel about the deck in the comment section below. I really wouldn't mind your feedback. Because I honestly do read what little comments I have under there, and I believe I need to reply to a couple more. But, yeah, I do read, I do comment, and just pretty much don't be a dick. Don't be a dick, and I got you, and I'll take in your stuff into consideration and work with it. So, yeah. Anyways, this is Axel Soul signing out. I will see you in the next video. I have been sick and busy with high school, so yeah, but I'll start uploading more soon, so don't worry about that. See you guys in the next one. Axel Soul signing out.